Good evening. My name is Rick Corbett, and I want to be talking to you about the U.S. Army rank insignia, specifically that of enlisted soldiers. The ranking system of the U.S. Army dates back to the very beginning of this country. An Army soldier is instantly recognizable in his uniform, but many of you do not know what the insignia on his chest means. Tonight, I will teach you a little bit about the Army's rank structure, what the symbols are, and what they look like. You might be asking yourself, what do I mean by enlisted? Well, according to USArmy.mil, there are two separate ranking structures for the U.S. Army. There's officer, and there's enlisted. These systems are completely independent of each other, so an enlisted soldier can never be promoted to officer or vice versa. By default, an officer outranks an enlisted soldier. So the lowest ranking officer technically outranks the highest ranking enlisted soldier. There's also a third system in place, which is the Department of Defense pay grade scale. Each rank has an associated pay grade that goes with it. These are classified as E1 through E9 for enlisted and O1 through O10 for officers. This is important because some of the enlisted ranks will share a pay grade. The first thing you'll notice on almost all enlisted ranks are chevrons. This is a chevron. According to the Institute of Heraldry, the chevron is an architectural term used to denote a structure of rafters of a roof. In ancient times, the head of a clan would use it as a mark of honor to signify that he was the head of the house, like on top of the house. In feudal times, medieval times, that's when it started to take a military connotation. And knights would wear it to signify different ranks or honor, or even when they had regular soldiers. And later in the Middle Ages, they would wear the chevrons just to signify their status. In the American Army, we've been using chevrons since the very beginning, since June 14, 1775, when the Army was founded. In those days, and until 1903, the chevrons were actually upside down. So if you see like old Civil War movies, they'll be pointed to the bottom. But in 1903, we turned that around. They're not exactly sure why, they just did it for whatever reason. And then the bottom here, this is called a rocker. That helps to signify as you advance up the ranks. According to Army Regulation 600-20, there are 13 separate enlisted ranks. We're going to go over them from lowest to highest, and then you'll know what they are with them. The lowest rank is private. He has no rank. He has no symbol. So if you see a blank uniform, that's the lowest level private. Next is Private 2. He's also private. He has one chevron. There's a specialist who has a shield and an eagle. Then a corporal. This is where non-commissioned officers start. NCOs, you've probably heard that term before. Corporal is 2 chevrons. Sergeant is 3 chevrons. Next is Staff Sergeant, which is 3 chevrons, and then the rocker comes into play. There's Sergeant First Class is after. 3 chevrons, 2 rockers. All 3 of these guys, when you talk to them, they're just addressed as Sergeant. You don't address their full title. Next is Master Sergeant and First Sergeant. These guys are technically the same rank. The difference is a diamond, and the diamond signifies that this guy is in charge of troops, like he's in charge of a company. And this guy would have like a staff job. Next we have Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major, and Sergeant Major of the Army. 3 chevrons, 3 rockers on all of them. The Sergeant Major has a star. He again would be a staff job. The Command Sergeant Major has a reef and a star, and he would be in charge of a unit, battalion, division, whatever. And then this is the Sergeant Major of the Army. There's only one of these guys, so odds are you will never see this rank on any person, any soldier you ever encounter. There's only one guy who works in the Pentagon. In closing, we learned a bit about how the Army is structured, some history of the enlisted rank, and the current enlisted soldier ranks. Hopefully you'll be able to now recognize a soldier's rank when you see him in person or on TV. Not only can you better understand military movies and books now, like when you watch Black Hawk Down, you understand what they're yelling at each other. You can also greet a soldier by his rank and give him the proper respect that he or she has dearly earned. Thank you.